my experience has been amazing. I love to see God's people worship Him anywhere. And I think sometimes if you've only been in the place that you live, you don't realize how far God's goodness spreads and how far people's response to His goodness spreads. So that's my favorite.
2017. Stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up. Clap, 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 clap. God bless you, God bless you, God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. Hallelujah. And then who joined us in 2018? Woo! Woo! Woo, 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 woo. So these are our newborn babies. Well, Pastor Adi and the crew are the grandfathers, the dinosaurs of, So regardless of when you joined, whether you joined yesterday or from the ancient of days, you are blessed. God will empower you. God will bless you. I always, I wish I could do what Oprah does. When my money comes, I will do so. But we try to always have a little token just to say thank you. And I think this has become customary. So we have a new folder for you. So do they get it now or after? So on your way home, you pick it up. Don't use it. Well, you can't use it to wrap donuts. It's not a piece of paper. Anyway, well, this evening let's get to the issue of the day. This evening we want to do some vision sharing. More like a vision refresh or a vision revision. Many of you, if the things, if I were you, I mean, this is what I do. Anything that is making progress, I study. Okay? And if it is making accelerated progress, I would even study more. I am a master at deconstructing people's success. When I hear a person speak, a great speaker or somebody doing phenomenal work, I'm not just listening to the words they are saying. I'm actually listening to their stories. Yeah, when they say, oh, the other day I woke up and I did this, I try to think, what time did they wake up? And what are the things that they did? Do you understand? I wish I could follow them around. Now, in the same way, when you see a church by the grace of God that, in a sense, to all intents, I can't say we are successful because success is relative. Does that make sense? But that is doing what we're doing in this kind of time. I think you should ask in your personal life, what are the things we can apply? Does that make sense? Yeah, because success is relative and it is parallel. All truth is parallel. You can draw applications from. So one of the key things is vision. Everybody say vision. Can we say it again? Vision. If you don't have a vision for your life, you are likely perishing. That's what the scripture says. Where there's no vision, the people do what? Perish, or they cast off restraint. If you don't have a vision, you're probably following somebody else's mandate without knowing it. Okay? So in a short while, we're going to, but what I want us to do first is a vision that is not measured will never be done. Okay? A vision, or let's put it this way, a goal. What's the difference between a vision and a goal? Does anybody know? Yes. Okay, a vision is is a picture of what you want to see or where you want to go. But the difference between a goal and a vision is the time. It's a time frame. Does that make sense? So I want to go to Israel. I've never been. Who's been to Israel before? Nobody here? And you want to go to heaven? No, you see, so hold on. Nobody here has been to Israel before. Hold on, 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 hold on. Don't feel persecuted. Don't feel condemned. Do you know this illustration is perhaps the most powerful example of vision? Nobody here has been to Israel. How can you say that? But do you know why it might be a possibility? I have never been to Israel before. You want to organize it? We probably would organize one as a church sometime soon. Yeah, yes. But does that make sense? Now, if I had been to Israel before, if I'd been, and I keep telling you about, the signs of whatever, so you will want to go to Israel. Does that make sense? Okay. Vision is more caught than taught. Okay. Now, so let's leave Israel alone. Let's come back to where we are. When a vision is not measured, you're just fooling yourself. Okay. So I'm going to show you something very quickly first, and it's essentially we had a vision of some sort, and thank God it worked. It worked. That's why we've gotten where we are. But by the grace of God, we keep getting better. Okay, but whatever vision and goal we had some kind of methodology that helped us to get where we are. There's something called Actos that we use. It's a performance management system, okay? And I want to show you in quotes the results. So I want to do, in a sense, a situational audit where we are right now before I share the vision or the revision with you, okay? How many of you are aware that the Liberty Church has 5 distinctives? Okay, if you know, put up your hand and say yes. If you don't know, put up your hand and say no. If you don't care whether you know or not. So we do have 5 distinctives, and those 5 distinctives are what? Love, life, laughter. Some people are saying, they're just chorusing. So, I mean, I don't want to bore you with the details, but we have, in a sense, categorized almost everything, or tried to, and put them under these various headings, these various distinctives. And then we've got measures to show. Some of the things, a lot of them I'm not so, but I think it's important to show it as it is. Yeah? So let's go, quickly. Oh, is it me? I'm the driver. All right. Okay, so under love, first of all, I mean, Pastor Shegun is not here. He's in Kili. You know, he lives in Cheshire. And so, I mean, he would have loved to have been here, but he's coming in tomorrow. He is the one that, in a sense, helps us to, he actually, project managed the whole implementation of this system and everything, and presently oversees it. Can we thank him? It's a lot of hard work. And the various team leads and whatever the leaders are the ones that are supposed to be managing it on a regular basis. Now, if you see any gaps anywhere, it is not Pastor Shegun's fault. It is not my fault, because I almost lost a few veins from, it is, but don't worry. Just understand that we're a work in progress, okay? All right, so let's go. So this, you can't see, can you? Yours tried by faith. Under love, love is about reaching out to people with the love of God and winning souls. So we have a few headline objectives. So our 2018 goal was to increase our social media reach to 60,000, okay? And so this is Periscope. We said 30,000, Twitter 5,000, Instagram 5,000, Facebook 20,000. I wish we didn't say that. But then on Periscope, did we increase it? No. It's 15,200. So we only reached 50% of the goal. Twitter, 67% of the goal. Is that good? Fair enough. Instagram, 85%. Is that good? Okay. And Facebook, 30%. Is that good? Okay. All right. Increase monthly average website hits to 5,000. Average monthly average website, website hits 2,500. Is that good? 50% of the goal. Now, please, as you are looking at, don't just look with an eye of criticism. Also look at how you can help input into it. Because there are people seated in this place who are better skilled to help us hit those targets. All right, let's move on very quickly. And then to increase the number of television stations or presence by 2 in the year. How many by now? None yet. Is that good? Okay, there's a reason why, I'm sure. Yeah. I guess if we had the financial resources, we'll do it tomorrow. Okay. And then to increase our outreach footprint by touching at least 7,500 people via our physical outreach by December 2018. Long story short, those are the various details there. Prisons, we're in 2 prisons, Belmarsh and Thames. Let's put our hands together. Isn't Belmarsh Thamesmead? They are 2 different places. They're next, okay, because I know I've been to Belmarsh and it's around Thamesmead. Okay, so there are 2. Thameside. Where is Thameside? Okay. So what's 2:30? We preach to them, we fed them. What do we do to them? We've reached them. We have access. Let's make sure we leave something with them. Yeah. Whether something, books or something. Let's try and, yeah. Okay. Then elderly care home. Is it one we visited? Okay. Anyway, there's Laguna, whatever. 32 people. But it would be nice to know what kind of impact we had on them. Yeah? All right. And then food bank, assuming we fed them, I guess so. And then feeding the homeless, clothing 470 people. That's good, isn't it? Let's clap. Do you know some people don't know that we do these things? All right. And that's why some people don't say they don't give tithes. Now you know. And then in terms of instead of schools, none as at yet, but I know there's work in progress. Somebody's actually working on that at the moment. All right. And then so the total number of people reached is 732 people reached to date through our love initiatives. That is 9.76. Is that a good thing? 10%. One element of love. Is there any more? Oh. Yeah, on that particular side. Okay, that particular, as in the outreaches, as in social impact. Yeah. Okay. Then the next is organized evangelism outreaches, reaching 7,500 people. So shelter 20, monthly evangelism 40 people. Is that in the year? To date, okay. Healthcare evangelism 140. That's good. Let's clap, I think. Share Jesus without fear. 12 people. Obviously, they had some fear because I think we would have reached. Yeah, but they're at a better place than we are. Okay, how many people went on that campaign? Put up your hand. Can you stand up, please? Stand up. Sylvester, why do you like to hide? Stand up, please. Were you going to say something, Mr.? You went on the campaign. Oh, so you don't fear. So stand up. Please stand up. Please stand up. This stand up. These are, you went dummy. Are you sure? So you don't just look cute. Okay, please clap for them. All right. So, I mean, the reason why I said clap for them is because on that day, when they're going to, Jesus is giving a soul winner's crown, you know, there will only be a few, it seems, like from the Liberty Church. I hope not. That's why I'm showing you now. All right, so what's next? Where is it? Where was I? Okay, Alpha course. 10 people came to so we ran Alpha here. And 10 people showed. Is that good? I think it's good. But can it be better? Okay, now, how many of you did not know we ran Alpha? How many of you knew we ran Alpha? How many of you don't speak English? Don't know what Alpha is? All right. So 10 people. I think it's a good start, but I think, if we can publicize it more, it would be nice to have 100 people. And I hear when we ran Alpha, there's actually a Caucasian guy that came, and he came from beginning to the end. Yeah. And so that means we have provided a good tool. The issue is that we need to populate it. All right. So let's move on very quickly. And total 222 people reached to date through those evangelism efforts. Is that good? I think it's good, but I think it can be much better. Okay. And then 40 people per month, seeing them converted. Is this says 2? I don't think so. Pastor Banks. Waiting. Pastor Awesome. We need some awesome figures. We have those figures. I think, wasn't it 40 that a month that we... Please, let's get those figures. Okay, so in terms of bridge events are events that we have in church. But it's for church members, but it's not the usual Sunday service, so that you can invite, we're encouraged to bring our friends to those events. And so, Enrich, which is our marriage, 500, the target was 500 people. They brought in 141. Is that good? Say yes. No, you don't have to say yes. 141. All right. Then Vibe had a goal of 500. They brought in 345. Was that good? It's because they always give food. Even I like to attend there. I come and sit down for 10 minutes and I eat for 15 minutes upstairs. It's not a bad deal. All right. Maximize Life said they would bring in 500. Is that true?
That's the goal.
That's the goal. I thought they had, you not had an event this year?
No, the figures aren't there.
Okay. So well, non-supply means 0. So instruction, next time, supply. All right. And it's the same for clusters. Hello? It's the same for clusters. When we don't see, I'm sent something every week. When I don't see, and I see Thames made, I see 0, I see my assumption is that you didn't hold the meeting. So please, when you hold it, send. Okay? All right. Liberty Kings, 0. Tribe, 0. Inaccurate figures. Okay. Okay, so total so far, our plan was to reach 2,500. From the figures we have, it says 486, but it's probably more than, a lot more than that. Okay, so we can't really comment on that. And then the church-wide bridge events. So most of them are on Sunday. So the first Sunday of the month. These are what I would call expectation Sundays. Sundays that we know that people who don't come to church will come. More people will come. All right. And we plan towards them. And the first Sunday of the month we had, this is probably adults, I think. 5 because it's a lot more than that. And Valentine's Sunday, let's see which one is the highest. Atmosphere of worship. It's not on a Sunday, but that's our highest. Well, up until anniversary. This anniversary, I think we had 967. Oh, is this figure adults? Oh, okay. True. Very true. Okay, Mother's Day. Father's Day is so low. Yes! I thought I saw 840. Oh, atmosphere of worship. We fathers. And this is without men's ministry performing powerfully. When we start, what will happen? This is without boat cruise. When we go on our helicopter flying, okay, so apart from atmosphere of worship, the highest will be anniversary. Yeah. So that shows that, that's a big bridge event for us. Now, I'm doing this so that you can understand the inner workings of our thinking and our and church life. There's a purpose. We're not just trying to have a big party. Okay. The main objective is to bring in as many people as possible. Let's move on very quickly for sake of time. So we moved on to, I think we finished that bit, yeah? Life. Life is the next distinctive. And it says to increase total cumulative adult attendance at our regular program, 7,500, that's in total. For sake of time, total cumulative adult attendance at regulars, whatever, stands at 5,233. Is that good? Yeah, so that will be in percentage about how much? 60-something percent or more? 70-ish percent. And we still have a way to go. Yeah? All right, so the rest of it are qualitative figures, which can only be done by survey. Because it's not enough to say we had this many people attend. What if they're not happy people? Okay. All right, so laughter, please, can we focus, please? Thank you. Laughter is the next distinctive, the third one. And in terms of figures, Vibe's current attendance is 62 to date. Their target was 100, so that's 62%. Have they tried? They are trying. This is the last time we will give them try. Next year, they will set them up to higher standards. Okay, and then Tribe, current attendance is 52, and that's 87% of the target set. Liberty Kids, 165, 47% of the target set. I think 350 was set. Okay, let's move on very quick. To increase the total number of our active cells or clusters to 120 by December 2018. And as at the average, please help me, Pastor Banks. What is that? Oh, when you say, what's 546? Average
adult attendance
of the church
for the year so far.
Yeah. Okay. That's average on a Sunday. On a Sunday, because it's actually more than that. The number of adults that come to the church is more than that. Not everybody comes to church on a Sunday. So anniversary figures will be more of a reflection in a sense. All right, so let's do this quickly. Cluster attendance, I think the highest we had is 330 something. Okay, of that population. That is good. Let's put our hands together. Although I discovered a church in the US that has more people attend their clusters than come to church on a Sunday. Yes. Only 80% come on Sunday. Most people go to the small groups. Okay. All right. So let's move on quickly. The other things, we've had 3 connect sessions so far, and we are 75% of our targets met. Not bad, because we're about 3/4 of the year. So hopefully, by the grace of God, we will surpass it. Okay, let's move on. And then learning, to increase the number of people baptized by immersion to 60. We had 19 to date, which is 32%, and we have 1 more. So it means go and look for people to give just tell them, just come and have a bath this Sunday. Now, why baptism is important? Baptism is another way to actually get people converted. Yeah, because when we do that course, some people say, oh, they've never done water baptism before. Not everybody that comes to church is a believer. They themselves don't know. Yeah, a lot of people just come religiously. Some come so that when mommy asks them, do you go to church? They say, yes, I went. Okay. And so when we say, have you been water baptized? And they have not, and they come for that. Do you know we take them through a whole teaching? Salvation message, yeah? And all of that. Some people give their lives there. Okay. So it's actually a good... who here has been water baptized? Put up your hands. God bless you. This one, heaven is looking. All right. I don't mean by sprinkling. No, I don't mean this type. And I also don't mean select type or, what, by river with beating and all of that. So, who has not been water baptized, full immersion? Put up your hands, please. T-Mac, see me afterwards. I will dump you inside. Okay. So, you are the people that we are looking for. All right. So, let's move on. Any other? Master Life, the sake of time, let's move on. And then leadership data, it says not available. I don't understand that. Okay, so we won't show. Let me move on to the slides for the day. Any questions very quickly, please? Any comment? T-Mac? Okay. Yes. Okay, so I guess your thinking is, what you're saying is why that may be the reason why some church people haven't attended. Good question, but our target for Alpha is not really church people. Alpha is more or less targeted at unbelievers, new Christians, or questioning Christians. You know, that kind of thing. It's supposed to be an aid to help people embrace the faith by answering questions in a non-threatening way. Yeah? So when I said we could get more people attending, we're more or less encouraging you that you probably have friends that are not Christians or they are asking and seeking. So that when next we say Alpha, yeah, invite those friends to that program. Maybe actually bring them. Okay, so Alpha is not a discipleship class. It's really more evangelistic. Yeah. Does anybody want to know more about Alpha, what it means? I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but it is more evangelist for people who are, who ask, what's this Christianity thing is about? What's it about? I mean, how many ways are there to God? Okay, I'm a Muslim, doesn't mean I will not go to God. Or even they could be Christians and they are questioning Christianity because they think, these things don't make sense. Yeah? Right. Yes, it's part. You can't have Alpha without food. So Nikki says, if there's no food, no Alpha. Bridging events. I think mostly, but we try to. Okay, so who agrees that food is an important element in? Okay, if you agree food is an important element. I don't want to say anything about tithing. That's so. I mean, the reason why because those little things make up, So like the anniversary, somebody said, "Oh, it would have been nice to serve food," but that's an extra £5,000. Which did you even know that the food wasn't served? Some did. Huh? So, Fumi, what did you say? It can be messy and it can be distracting. Yes. True. Precise. God bless you. Oh, thank you. But apart from the messiness and all, it's expensive. So I like to give food, but Tolu quickly so that I can move on to
I think sometimes we come to that point where people just automatically assume that because they had an emotion, they will be food. So it's not given a second thought that it will be
Okay.
there, but it doesn't mean to say that it
Okay, good. I like that. So I think in this church we've been spoiled. Very spoiled. We expect food, but if we say there's a fee, then they abuse everybody. Do you know what I found out recently? Hillsong. Who's heard about Hillsong? And they, and they're great. Do you know they charge for their conferences? It's yes, £100. Wow! When we did one cluster campaign and said, come and pick up a book for £10, people didn't show up. We're used to free things. So may God help us. All right. Let me move on quickly so I can get onto it. All right. So let's move on. So everybody say vision refresh. I'm going to be sharing with you very quickly about the vision of the Liberty Church. There's something about vision that energizes. There's something about vision that helps every single person be on the same page. In fact, every family should have a vision. In fact, young single ladies, don't get married to a man who does not have a vision. Ask the man on the first date, even before he proposes, where are you going? If you just say, oh, I'm hustling, find the next train and miss out of there. Okay? Nobody bought a plane that is going nowhere. If you bought the plane and you're going to New York and the pilot says, welcome to the flight going to Kathmandu, what will you do? Say, damn, man. and then you find your square route. Now, it's sad that people join churches without knowing the vision, because that may not be where you want to go to. Vision makes, if you have a vision in a family, it will reduce the quarrels. Yeah, it will reduce the quarrels. I know marriages that are broken up because they didn't have a clear vision before they got married. When it was time to send their children to school, one wanted to send the child to state school, the other one private school. And then the man could not understand. He said, what do you mean? I've always, it was part of the plan to send my child to a state school. And the woman said, no, it's always been my plan to send my child to a private school. Was any of them wrong? They were both right, but they were not united. And it's because they never shared their vision at the beginning. The wife wanted to send her child to a private school because they both went to private schools. They actually met in a private school. But the man wanted to send his child to a state school because he's a Labour Party MP and minister. And the vision for the Labour Party, it doesn't make sense. And I think it was actually the education minister or something to that effect. And his vision meant that he should really be espousing and embodying the vision of the Labour Party. They actually divorced. Yes, sadly. So that's the power of vision. And you will find the same thing. Vision helps to keep all of us on the same page. So in this, we're going to talk about the mission. Everybody say why. We're going to talk about the vision, what. We're going to talk about the strategy, which is the how. Okay? You should write it down for yourself, for your personal. And then we will not talk about goals, and I will tell you why. Not today. Okay? But everything we're going to talk about will feed our goals. Because the goals, I think, is something that I need to sit down with my leadership collectively to decide. That's about the when, the time frame. Okay? And then we will not talk about the target audience. We need to be more strategic about that because we need to look at some figures, analysis, demographics, and all of that stuff. Okay? And then we will talk, I'm not sure we'll have the time to talk about the values, but if we can, we will do. Okay, and I said the where. It sounds odd, but it is the where. All right? So let's start. Okay, now concerning the mission, this is in fact the most important thing. The mission of any organization is the most important thing. Everybody say mission speaks about direction. And vision speaks about destination. The problem with most organizations and people is that they don't have a why. Can I ask a question very quickly? What is church about? I want 2 or 3 very quickly. What is this church? Sorry? It says community. Yeah, that's one. It says populating heaven. Okay, somebody else, quickly, please. This is important. Drawing people to Christ. What do you say? Salvating? Okay. Helping people fulfill their purpose. Anybody else? The church is about the body of Christ. Yeah. About love. Anybody else? Quickly, please. I'm going somewhere with this. Destiny. Okay. Who will say the church is about having services on Sunday? Okay, but it may seem like that. Let's go back. Very quickly. Mission is about answering, Pastor Beams and Pastor Ade, please. Yeah. Mission is about answering the question why we exist. Listen to this. This is the singular reason why I wake up from my bed with a bounce every morning. Every morning. This is what keeps me going when I am doing ministry and I am tired or when I am ill. Every time I'm at a place where I am discouraged, I have to go back to my why, and it is my why that motivates what I am doing. When I am doing 3 services and I'm on the 3rd service, and there's a whole queue of people at the end, and a headache is wanting to develop, this is what keeps me going. Okay, and what is it? First of all, our mission, every church's mission should come from the Great Commission, which is Matthew 28, 19, 20, which says, go into all the world and preach the gospel. But aside from that, this is why we exist. I'm looking for a better, this is not the final, but this statement in a sense summarizes this. To make hell empty and heaven full. Stella was almost right. she was the closest. To make what? Hell empty and heaven full. And help each person fully fulfill their destiny on earth. And make them ready for their ultimate destination in heaven. If you can write it in a brief, more abbreviated version, you can help me, I would appreciate it. But essentially, this is what it is all about. Now, the reason why it is important to state that is that you are working as an usher. And you are doing it every Sunday, and all you are doing is sit down there, stand there, move to the front. Or you are a singer, and all you are doing is sing. And you don't understand the centrality of this. One day you'll be miserable. Hello. When I was younger, it was interesting that somebody said, I asked, what do you think church is? They said community. Do you know, some people believe church is just about community. But the purpose, the reason why God ordained the church, ultimately, is to depopulate hell and make heaven full. And not just that, before we get to either of these places, to ensure we fulfill our destinies here on earth. Can somebody say an amen? Amen. Sadly, a lot of churches have lost sight of this. And we get into motion when you miss this altogether. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is this. When I was younger, in fact, one time in my ministry life, maybe about 15, 20 years ago, I lost sight of this. And my ministry became about making people successful. And I was good at it. I would teach messages that will get people jobs. I would teach messages about, breaking. And guess what? What I was finding out, as they were getting judged, they were leaving the church. As they were getting judged, one particular guy got a job. He broke through. The next day, he didn't come to church. On the way back home from church, I saw him banking around in one car. And then by the next week, we heard he had 2 girlfriends now. And it was the church that helped him get the job. Did we fulfill this mission? No. So this important, and I don't think it's in church today. This mission is, if anybody comes to ask me to do any program, I will put this behind and see, Does it match with this? Okay. Now, why is this important to me? Like I said, when I was younger, my measures were different. But the older you get, the closer you're going to the grave. I'm turning 50, and somebody said, well, that means you have 20 to 30 if you are healthy. 30 years of ministry left in you. I don't want to spend it wasting my time. And why is this important? Because every single one of us will have to stand before God like this. 2 Timothy 4:17-18. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. And finally, there's laid up for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will give to me on that day. Amen. And not to me only. And not to me only. But also to all those at the Liberty Church. That amen is too weak. You will say, okay, in the name of Jesus, God will send an angel to pay all your mortgage soon. That is what we want to hear. But if heaven was only about paying our mortgage, then we should go and join some money doubling place. Does that make sense? Okay, this is the real essence. And he says, not me only, but also to all who have loved his appearing. Paul brought everything back to the centrality of the whole thing. And you will find, if you look through most of Paul's messages, I'm going to show you a few before we go to the next thing. You will find it's full of this. He says in Colossians 1:21-22, to present you holy and blameless and above reproach in his sight, if indeed you continue in the faith, grounded and steadfast, and are not moved away from the hope of the gospel which you heard. I pray you will never be moved. Amen. Do you know, if you ask me at some time in my ministry, my part of my mission will be that it's to get you married and to help you stay married. Yeah, not that they are bad things, and it's still part of what I will do. Yeah, but that's not the centrality of it. In fact, if you are not married and you're going through a tough time, or you're going through a marital challenge, it might actually push you towards this God and this heavenly mandate. Okay? All right, so let's move on quickly. Just again to show you some scriptures to undergird this, because this is the most important thing. Now to him who is able to keep you from stumbling, may you never stumble in the mighty name of Jesus. And to present you faultless before the presence of his glory with exceeding joy. Listen to this. These are the things that we as the pastors, this is what God will ask of us, should do. Paul says in Acts, he says, I was not disobedient to the heavenly vision. Now, let me say this. Listen to this. Everything we do must be undergirded. We should check it. If you say, Pastor, can we do so and so? I will check. Does it fit this mission? Does it fit this mission? Let's take it to the next step. Everybody say again, mission. Speaks about direction. But vision speaks about destination. The mission will never change. The vision could vary gradually as you go along. Does this make sense? And that's why we're having a vision revision and not a mission revision. We didn't call a meeting to say, let's review the mission. We're no longer going to heaven. We want to go somewhere else. All right. Okay, so what is the vision? What I have done is skillfully put our vision. A vision is about a picture. It's what it is, vision, optica. What is coming to view? What do you see? Okay? Now, most visions are written, I see so and so. I see a church of this and that. And yeah, but what I have done is that I have put each of the vision statements underneath our five distinctives. Are you ready? Okay, so I'm going to do a Q&A afterwards. Okay, so listen intently, please. All right, ready? Let's go. Under the love, our love distinctive, which is evangelistic. The reason why we put it under these five distinctives is almost like as though these five distinctives are the expo for what the Lord will judge you by when you stand before him. When I say expo, I'm talking about exams. My son is looking to, he doesn't know what expo is. Do you know what Cronje is? Somebody please explain expo to him. For me, do you know what? Even I doesn't know. Expo is exam malpractice. Exam fraud. So it's getting the exam papers before the exam. That's what expo is. Hello. So how many of you will like expo for the Bible school? I have the expo. They sent it to me yesterday. I had to ask them to remove one or two because it was hard. Those two. So if you behave well tonight, I may give you some of the questions beforehand. but listen to this. You might not get the questions or the answers to the Bible school exam beforehand, but you're going to get the questions and the answers to the most important exams in your lifetime. Every one of us are going to stand before God. And some questions will be asked of you. And the question will not be, what kind of car did you drive? What watch did you have a Hublot? Did you drive? He said, what's that? If you don't know, you don't need to know. Do you know, in some places, you don't qualify if you don't wear a 50,000 pound watch. How can you be wearing your mortgage around the whole place? Yeah. It will not be based on the Chanel bag. Neither will it be based on the kind of school that your child went to. Well, they will ask you another question on that one, but that will not be the major. There are a number of factors that they will ask you about. And these 5 distinctives cover them. Okay? And one of them is evangelistic. Everybody say evangelistic. You know, do you know I prefer going speaking at funerals than at weddings? Please don't look at me like I'm morbid. The reason why is because at weddings you can't tell them the truth. If you told them the truth, they may not marry. At funerals is the only place you can tell people the real truth about life. At weddings, everybody lives happy. But at funerals, some people will never hear the gospel except they go to a funeral. I don't play with funerals. Okay. Now, it is the most important message anybody must hear. And this is why, the reason why I showed you that initial slide is to show you how poorly we are doing in the most important area. One of those slides said 9-point-something%. Okay, this is why we were not evangelistic before. Now I'm going to elasticize our evangelism. Love. It is our vision to reach out to the unreached and unreachable people and communities with a relevant word in a relevant way. The key words here is to reach the unreached and to reach them with relevance. A relevant word in a relatable way, rather. In a way that they can relate to, and we can relate to them. For sake of time, we move quickly. To lead people into becoming fully devoted followers of Christ. So we are engaging them so that they can be led into what? Becoming fully devoted followers of Christ. 3. Some people say, how many of you think church growth is important? Put up your hand. Be honest. How many of you think it is not important? Put up your hand. How many of you don't know what church growth is? Okay, let me tell you why it is important. Growth is mandatory as long as heaven and hell are a reality. Does that make sense? It is important for a church to grow. If heaven is true and hell is true, then churches should grow. For as long as there are unsaved people, our church is not big enough. Hello? Did you hear that? For as long, do you know why I say this? Because people say, the church, we are comfortable like this. Our cluster, if we don't need any more people. No. Then you don't understand God. For as long as there are people going to hell, then your church is not big enough. Okay? And because of that, listen to this. I mean, when I went to America, I went through a period of studying and preparing and listening to it. And God just really challenged me and said, I need you to reach out for more. More. Okay? We will make more room to reach more people. And we will keep making that room. Let me say something to you. Some people, a lot of us, we have a selfish instinct. And when I left the other church, do you know what some people say? Pastor, why did you disrupt our family? I mean, you can't even imagine, and I can understand some people, especially people who have come from traumatic backgrounds, divorced homes and stuff like that. So the family unit is there. The church is there, the closest to a stable family. So it's like, to them it felt like a divorce. But really it should not have been taken as a divorce. It is God reaching out, because there are certain people who would not have come to Christ if this church was dead. Sorry? Yes. There are certain where's Danny? Stand up, please. Danny, I love Danny's trousers today. Come, bless. Danny, you have to get me one of these. Imagine, you see Danny with his hair, with his harem pant, with his durag. Imagine him at a workers' rally. I didn't say anything. No. They will say, worker. In fact, if somebody hears there's a person like this in my yard, they say, That's But shouldn't somebody like this go to heaven?
Yes.
Now, my denomination, the former one, the mission statement is to make heaven and to take as many people as. But do you know, no matter how they try, there are some people they will leave behind. So that's why God sent us. And we will never insult God with small thinking. Oh, this is not related to the last comment I made, please. Does that make sense? In the sense that I say, oh, this is enough. When we started our Liberty Church, we started at Hilton. When the place got full, we were feeling cool. And we could still be there now. And I said, we need to look for a bigger place. When we moved to Diverse Center, somebody came to see me and he said they had a vision. We just moved and that's whatever was still the barrier. One service. I said, Pastor, I had a vision or a dream or something. I saw you having 3 services here. Inside my own heart, I was laughing. I said, we haven't even built the place, but I'm a man of business. I just accepted it and things like that. Now, are you getting what I'm saying? You see, if you don't make room, you are actually not making room for people who are going to hell. Yeah. So I will not insult God with small thinking. We will do anything short of sin to reach people for Christ. Does that make sense? Which means we will be on the edge. So far it is not sin. If it means I'm looking for my ripped jeans, I've been sparing people since. Yes. If it means me dyeing my hair to win people for Christ, I will do it. I'm going to try it next Sunday. Hey! I have to buy some hair first. It's Pastor Ade that shot me. At night, it's always still in my hair. Every morning I wake up, his own grows mama. Hello? Now, please, this thing sound, but this is why I called you. So that when we do certain things, you would understand. Why? We would do anything short of sin, which means crazy. There was a church that invited one artist in Nigeria. And they were, I'm not saying I'm inviting anybody, I'm just, we will wait well before we, and they were persecuted for it. And he felt bad. But you know what? Apparently he told me, he said, they had because it's something like 700 souls give their lives on that day.
Wow.
So let me ask the question. This is me saying, will you be okay to bring somebody just to come to church and sing one song so that he can bring all those people and then not sing? I'm just asking. I'm not saying I'm doing it. Do you understand? But listen to this. What I'm trying to say is that, look, in order to fulfill the mission, we may need to break the box. Does that make sense? We have to be irreligious if you're going, because a non-Christian is not going to walk into your whatever. Let me tell you one. So I say short of sin. So I'm trying to push the barriers little by little. So have you heard of Kenny Black? Yes. Okay, I hear he's a Christian. Yes. Okay, some people say it with loudness. Now he's having a show here soon, but he's very, very popular all over the place. Do you know? Are we okay? Can we? I don't know whether there's any caveat or whatever. No, I think we can now. Yeah, he's coming for that crossover. Now, the thinking behind, listen, are you getting what I'm saying? You see, there's a method to our madness. And this is why we're having this meeting. So you are on the same page with us. And when we are doing some things, you are not talking against it. Like the woman that was married to the politician, who is talking against her husband somewhere because they didn't share the vision and agree on it. Okay. It makes sense? Yeah. And we are trying to he's coming to that show. He's probably going to gather mostly unbelievers. We are looking for a way to advertise there that he's coming to us so that they can come. As they are laughing, we are giving them Christ. But I say short of sin, so we will not sin. We will do... I've said that now. I don't know why the thing is coming again. You need to... And to reach people that people are not reaching, we have to do what people are not doing. This is the most important part of the vision. Because any business that is not reaching new customers is dying. So I showed you your report sheet before. Are we growing or dying? From before. Okay. We would do in order to do what in order to reach people that people are not reaching, we have to do what others are not doing. Somebody said something to me today. He said, Pastor Shola, see what you've caused. I said, how? I was already feeling guilty. He said, people are now starting leaving their churches and going to hold programs in other cities. He said, it's your fault. And I said, how? So I was actually taking him seriously. Then he mentioned one particular guy. I said, I haven't spoken to this guy in almost 2.5, 3 years. So he has nothing to do. He said, but everybody can see it. When you are going to pack your load, go to Lagos, you say you are doing pack your load. So everybody thinks that that they must do. I said, but I had God. He said, they to say they are hearing God. Now, hello, yeah, but it does not make sense to go to Houston. It does not make sense to go to Houston. A church from here. But you know, God can send somebody from here to Houston. The same way he told Philip to leave what he was doing in Samaria and go to Azotus in the desert to preach to one man, an Ethiopian eunuch. Now, Mr. What's his name? The Haitian man from Haiti and his Puerto Rican wife. And they said, we want this. They were asking, they said, Pastor, I want you to know, we want a Liberty Church in Houston. Says our lives have changed. Let me see. You